What's up, guys? Welcome back to another awesome episode of JDM for All. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you haven't already, please do not forget to like and subscribe. Now, today's video is about this 7th Gen 2002 Civic, and it's actually kind of a sad video. So these 7th Gen Civics actually have a pretty big problem that, I don't know, apparently a lot of people on the internet say that they have this problem with this Civic, and basically when the alternator does back out, the bolts on the alternator back out, alternator's back there, can't really see it, it's actually right here, but when the alternator actually is not bolted in all the way, then it is not grounded, and that's a big problem because the alternator on some cars will be grounded onto the body of the car or to the engine a different way, like with an actual ground, but this car, the alternator is actually grounded by the engine just by being bolted up to the block. And that's a big problem, especially if the alternator does back out. If the bolts on the alternator end up backing out. And that's what happened to me, guys. So basically, I was at the car wash. I went through the car wash, and after the car wash, I used the AC, and out of nowhere, it started squealing. I didn't know what the problem was, but come to find out, the next day I thought it would be dry, so I started it up again, and it was still squealing, so I ended up looking in the engine bay, and I found that the alternator actually backed out, the top bolt backed out, and the alternator was, it was rocking left and right, and that's why it was squealing. But not only that, I did have symptoms of the ECU being burnt up. So apparently, guys, a big problem with these Civics is that the alternator will, if the bolts end up becoming loose, then the alternator will basically not be grounded, and it will search for a ground, and it will end up, the voltage will end up going up, or surging up, I guess, and then it ends up basically frying the ECU. And I believe that's what happened in this car. I'll tell you why. When I started the car, after I tightened up the alternator, it stopped squealing, but the check engine light was on, and even before I tightened it up, the check engine light was on, the little green light on the dash was flashing, and I had no tach, and I don't remember if I had a temperature gauge, but those are symptoms of the ECU being burnt out. And so in the next video, guys, I'm going to show you guys how to change the ECU out. I already have it, so I'm going to be working on it. There's actually a chip that you have to change out to switch ECUs, and basically once you change out that chip, then you won't have to program it and send it to Honda or anywhere else. You can change it out yourself and just change the chip. The chip is the programmed key, so you can actually use your key. If you don't change out the chip, what I've read is that the car will just start and then die. Not sure if that's true, what happens if it runs for a couple minutes and dies or whatever, but I do know that it won't run without the chip, so without the key programmed to the new ECU. So I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to do it. I basically am going to change out the chip that stores the programmed key into it to the new ECU. And I also am going to be talking about grounding the alternator and everything and getting it all set up, guys. So actually, I haven't driven this Civic for a little while. The ECU is already out, and I'll show you guys the whole process. I'll talk about it and show you guys how I'm doing it. But basically, the little green light, the little green key light on the dash was blinking, check engine light, I believe battery light too, because I think the ECU controls the alternator. The I can't remember what it is, power resistor or something, I don't remember. And it also controls the tach, and I believe it controls the temperature gauge too. So I'm going to be changing those out in the next video. I'll show you guys how I do it and everything. But hopefully I can get this car running. Oh, also, on top of all of those symptoms, it also ran in limp mode. It would redline basically at like 3 RPMs, and it was running really rich on top of all of those symptoms. So yeah, guys, next video I'll show you guys how I'm fixing it, but basically today I'm going to be fixing it. I'll put it in a separate video. I'll let you guys know what I'm doing. But yeah, definitely excited to get this car running again, guys. This car is awesome. But thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys on the next video.